the man to my right may well have been more a part of Mr. Frisk's win than I first thought, because were you at Charlie Longsdon? This is, of course. Were you at Kim's at that point?
No,
oh.
no. I was still. God, 1990. I was still just left prep school.
So you joined subsequent to that.
I was about 8 years later. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
8 years later.
Yeah. Was Mr. Frisk was 1990?
Yeah, 90. Because my first foray to Kim Bailey's, you were there, and that was mid to late 90s.
Yes. Yeah. No, that was. I went there in 98.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, a few years after.
You haven't changed a bit.
Race. Oh yeah, still. Oh no, weight, still young and still.
Well, let's go back there first of all. What was that whole time like?
Kim's was fantastic. It was started off in Lambourne. We moved up to Northamptonshire. So I was about 18 months in Lambourne, 18 months in Northamptonshire, and then had a fantastic time. We didn't have any amazing horse. Betty's Boy was probably the best known horse. I think he was one of the favourites for the Grand National actually. 1 year, then he pulled out lame about the week before the race, which was a bit of a disaster when we were at Thorndale Farm. It was not Thorndale, Northamptonshire, Preston Capes. Capes.
Yeah, the Gallops got washed away.
The Gallops got washed away. I was there when the Gallops got washed away, he's done a lot better since he's gone to Thorndale Farm. Good on Kim. He rejigged everything, moved to Thorndale and Doversford, and he's been flying ever since. So
Grand National winner in 90. You joined just after the double in 95.
It went down,
but it wasn't connected. That's not what I'm saying. And I'm sure you cutting your teeth there. And then where did you go after that?
So I went to Nicky Henderson's 5 years from 2001 to 2006 with Nicky. The times of Landing Lights, Geoses, Trebolgans, Von Morts. This goes on. Good horses. Had fantastic 5 years there. Spent a couple of summers in America with Todd Pletcher in Saratoga. I was lucky enough to get a scholarship out there, which was amazing. Great experience. Everyone asked, did I bring things that I learned in America back to England? It's not quite that sort of holiday sort of thing.
Do you still follow Pletcher's runners at all? Were you looking at the Dubai World Cup with Life is Good, for example, or is that just not on your radar now?
No, I do. But when I went out there, I always thought, God, American racing, this and that. But actually, no, I do. I do follow the American racing. I follow the American jump racing a lot, and we've had jump runners out in America. I know American jump racing is amazing prize money, but it is more the equivalent of the point-to-point scene, though it is very good horses and very good prize money. It's not at the mainstream tracks. That's what I'm trying to say. But I do follow that a huge amount, and I do follow Pletcher's runners because he was legend. I mean, very simply, that Saratoga, the main season I was out there, Saratoga, the summer of 2004, I think it was. Saratoga's a 6-week festival, 9 races a day, 6 days a week. He was leading trainer with 36 winners, and I think the next best trainer had 13. So that's, yes, he had more runners, but it shows you the measure of the man,
What was your role there then?
I was a foreman, basically, as a head lad sort of thing. Okay. So you're up at 4 o'clock every morning, then we had runners every afternoon. It was long days, long evening, you worked very hard, but you also, you're on your sort of half a working holiday, so you played hard as well. So it was good fun. And he's a great man, he's a great trainer, very smooth, Texan, never raised his voice. He's just a good trainer.
And so, like you say, because I immediately now want to ask, what did that teach you about coming back to chipping Norton and training jumpers? But I suppose maybe things go in naturally. But there's no specific technique you've brought back.
No,
I'm going to set my stall out to do it this way or that way.
No, everything's on the track there. He's a flat trainer, is the first and foremost, and we're a national hunt trainer. But you do take everything you learnt, but do you put it into practice back at home? Probably do, without thinking about it slightly in places, but no, not generally. But it was a fantastic time. It was a time when he won the distaff that year with Ashado. He won the sprint with Speightstown. So good horses there at the time. So it was a good learning experience set us up perfectly for about a year later, 18 months later, when we started training.
How is life in Chipping Norton?
Good. Yeah. No. Look, it's been good. We've had a fantastic year so far this year. We've had 40-plus winners. We've got our great flagship horse, which who's been a superstar. We just got to hope it lasts at least another week.
Have you ever known anything quite like this, the build-up to this year's National, with the story that Snow Leopardess is currently and could be?
No. Look, we've had runners in the Grand National before, but they've been 50, 60 to 1 shots. Pendra was a fantastic horse, never got his ground. I think he'd have done a lot better if he had decent ground. But she is, yeah, there's so much attention, quite rightly so. I'm sure we'll talk about this, she's the story of the race. Mm-hmm. She's quite rightly in the top 6 of the markets. And yeah, look, it's stressful. It's nerve-wracking, but very exciting at the same time.
So, all right, but we'll get to the story and the intricacies of that. Just on her chance, first of all, right? Will she stay?
Yes, I've got no issues with her staying ability. No.
Okay. Will she go the early pace of the race?
Good question.
Thanks.
If I had one worry, they go quick to the first. And whereas I think she doesn't mind much ground. She's won a Grade 2 on good ground. She won the equivalent of the Mares finale yesterday at Newbury on good ground, how many years ago. So I don't want.
That's an amazing transition, isn't it?
Yeah, no, exactly. But so the ground is not an issue. You know, it's my worry is the speed to the first fence will be my natural worry. She has got plenty of speed, but you just have to, you know, I wouldn't want her to get swallowed up down the inside going to the first. I would probably we'll make sure she has a bit more space. Okay,
so you'll want her to line up a bit wider?
A bit wider, because then if horses are going quicker, she's not being crowded around too much.
Where, sort of forward position in the field or back of the field, where do you want her position?
You'd like her to be fairly handy with a bit of daylight. You know, there's guaranteed that she'll be, like every horse, they'll be in top gear to the first fence. And then they'll slightly take a break. You know, if she can get to the first fence with a bit of daylight, she'll be fine.
She loved the fences, right?
I'd hope so. I mean, she certainly seemed to love them in the beach chase. You know, she seemed to absolutely thrive with the fences. There's one aerial shot of her jumping beaches, which I thought was something to behold. It was just really, you can see that she eyes them up from a way out, and she just launches over them. It was exciting to watch that day. Nerve-wracking to watch.
What's she like?
She knows she's special. She certainly, we sort of joke that she's the queen of the yard, and she is, to be fair. And she's, you know, yes, there has been plenty of media attention and cameras about recently, and she very much plays up to it all. She knows, you know, she's idling on the shot now. As Aidan said, she had plenty left in the tank, but she just, into her driving rain and headwind, she just lost concentration and idled. And held on.
Because some might look at that and think, oh, she's tying up, she's not going to stay a national trip.
Quite rightly so. That's what everyone asks me, will she stay? And as Aidan said in his interview, he said, I would have shot myself if we had got beaten that day, because, you know, she'd given me the most amazing 3 1/4 miles, and that last bit she just got lonely in front. And I'm sure if you ask Aidan now, he'd still say the same thing. She got lonely in front. She had plenty left in the tank. She got lonely into driving rain and headwind.
And you feel that it's likely to be slightly better ground. Going over further is not going to be a problem. So there's plenty in her favour. I feel like once you see her over the first 6 or 8, say, and she's in a rhythm and in a race, you might just breathe a bit.
Yeah, I think that first line of fences is massively important. Just getting, like any horse, I mean, any trainers will say to any jockey, or any jockey will say that if they get over those first 6, get into a nice rhythm. If they're in a nice rhythm, they'll have an amazing 4 miles spin round. If you don't get into that rhythm, it could be a very long 4 miles, or you won't even get that far. So yeah, the most important thing in my eyes, you know, and I'm sure Aidan, I haven't spoken to Aidan totally about this, you know, I'm sure we'll be getting into a nice rhythm, just try and give her a bit of daylight, give her a bit of space, don't crowd around her too much. And I mean, it's easier said than done when there are 39 other horses in the race, but look, we'll see.
It's the hardest race, I think, to assess, because so much can go wrong. that can be so completely, as I'm sure you know, that can be so completely out of your control.
Yes.
So I don't know if that makes it easier or harder from a trainer's point of view.
Look, what will be. But it is an exception. You know, in the old days, it was a real lottery. You know, you had to take to the fences, and they're a lot bigger than they are now. Now you get lots of very good horses in the race. It is at the end of the day an exceptionally good quality handicap with 40 horses, and you know she's got to stay up the pace. And look, we know she'll jump the fences. You know, I think she's one of the few horses probably that would have jumped the old-fashioned style fences as well. But that's that's not going to necessarily win her the race. You know, she's got to be able to jump these ones. Look, it's impossible to guess what will happen. But we can keep dreaming until next Saturday afternoon.
So the obvious story with her is not just that she's a mare and would become the first mare in 70-odd years to win the race, but that she's a mum.
Yes.
And that really makes it all the more special. How have we arrived here? This is her with her foal, right? That's a filly foal.
I got sent this actually the other day. I only saw this for the first time. That was her being sent, her being ridden probably with her couple of months old foal, yes. Yeah. Which is, the great footage, great Sophie, who Mrs. Marietta Fox-Pitt's head girl down there, she took all these photos and sent them to me the other day, and she's obviously done a lot of the work at home and things like that and got her going again after she had the foal. But she is... A lot of quotes about working mum, and in theory, yes, she is a working mum. She's been there, done it.
This is her doing her thing.
Yes, this was in Lambourne about 10 days ago with Aidan on board.
Are these the Lambourne national fences?
Yes, they're the Lambourne national fences. So we went up there.
How much of a difference do they make, do you think?
I think it's more like dotting the I's and crossing the T's.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't. You know, first time back in December, we went up there once, just jumped them once, and that was it. And Aidan said, no, don't need any more. This time, we jumped them once, and you know, that was the second time up you saw there. The first time she just measured them a bit more carefully. She's sort of sussing it out and working out where her feet are, and then she jumped them beautifully the first time, and then that was the second time up. I was quite happy to leave it with one jump up, but Marietta was there, and she said, no, let's go again. I said, okay, we'll go again. And then there were other national horses there schooling as well. Anthony Hannibal had a couple there, and Ben Pauling had his horse there as well. So there were a few of us there. But we didn't. The ground was getting on the quicker side, so we didn't really want to do much jumping up there.
Are you concerned about freshness or anything like that, or you're very happy?
Yeah, she's a horse that needs to takes her work. She's only had 3 runs this season. She lives out in the day. She's out all day, so she's kind of. I've got no worries about her freshness now. She should be, hopefully, she'll be there in tip-top form. She did her last good bit of work yesterday. We'll do an easy bit of work on Tuesday, and then we will head up on Saturday morning. And
there's not an engagement she's missed or anything like that. Was there a possibility she was going to run again and you backed off?
We thought about, after Exeter, we initially thought about qualifying her at Newbury beginning of March for the veterans, for the next January Sandown Veterans final. We thought about that, but we thought it was only 3 weeks, 20 days between the 2 races, and we thought, no, she had a harder race than I really wanted to give her at Exeter. Let's just back off her and give into this race.
How did it come about that this is a mare who has a foal, and then is back in training with you, lining up, towards the top end of the betting for a Grand National? How was that? Nothing to do with you. That was a case of Marietta saying, "This is what I want to do."
That's normally the case. Yes. There's no doubt when she picked up a leg injury when she won at Auteuil. Remember she's won in 3 different countries by the time she was 6 as well. She won England, Ireland, and France. But she picked up a leg injury at Auteuil, and when it was decided she was going to have her foal. I honestly thought that was her finished. I thought, gutted, because she's a really good mare. Mm-hmm. She won't come back. Even though Marietta always said, of course she'll come back, why can't she come back? I came back, I competed around badminton and things like that after having children. Jessica Ennis, Olympic gold medalist, after having children, blah, blah, blah. I never quite believed it until it happened. So yeah, she was always going to come back, even though I wasn't quite sure that was the case. But yeah, sure enough, in the August time, after she had the foal in March time, so 5 months later, 6 months later, she was back.
Any different?
No, not really. I mean, just that you think about it, you've got 2 years of not being ridden, having had, as I said, a foal, of fat to turn into muscle to get fit. So that was, and that's after having had leg injuries as well. And I'm a bit pathetic when it comes to horses having had leg injuries. I very much train them with the handbrake on, as you might say, because I'm wary of them, of leg injuries happening again. So we probably very much undercooked her that first time round, and she ran no race at Newbury, and she got another tweak of a leg, and it might have been because maybe she wasn't quite fit enough. So when she came back that second time, the following year, I had to get stuck into it, but it still took her 2 races to get fit. So it was in terms of her in herself. No, she was never any different. She loves being in work. I think she loves being with us, and she obviously loves being at Norton Court. But she doesn't love being everywhere else. She is quite a character. She always has been a bit of a madam. But that adds to her sense of sometimes, for example, getting on the horse box can be a nightmare. I could say many other words to it, but it could be a nightmare. I mean, it can take anything between 10 minutes and half an hour to get her in. There have been occasions when we've been half an hour late to where we wanted to go because she wouldn't get on the horse box. That's just the way she is. She has her own tendencies, and the stories I've heard from her back at home, jumping gates and getting out and doing silly things. But she's at her happiest when she's at home in the field. She's in the field every day with another mare of ours called Glimpse of Gala, and they're just happy together the whole time out.
So you turn her out quite a lot, do you?
She's out every day, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, depths of winter, when it's pouring rain, no, but she's out every day. And
does that ever worry you, being, I suppose she's the prized possession in the yard, and there's more that can go wrong, I guess, out in the field than in a box?
Of course there are. I mean, don't get me wrong, in the autumn, she might have been out with 4 or 5 other horses. I mean, and remember, our horses are out every day, so certainly this time of year, so they're used to being out every day. But yes, we are being a bit more cautious. We're just out with one other. They're great mates. Tell Jess, who looks after Snow Leopardess, that she's no better than Glimpse of Gala because they both won 3 this season, so they can't have any. But no, look, they are happy as ending together, and yeah, we try and keep them out as much. And I think that helps them relax as well. And
is the foal heading your way?
Supposedly, yes.
Okay.
So Red Panda, so she's now a 3-year-old by Sir Percy. She is back at home still with Norton Court. She was meant to come to us last summer, but injured herself in the field. But she's being ridden away, jumping. Apparently she's quite backwards. She will be hopefully with us in the autumn, yes.
Good. So she will win the mares race at Newbury in a couple of years' time.
That.
Perfect. Yeah. Lovely.
I'd love to get a picture of them both riding out together, Red Panda and Snow Leopardess on the gallops, cantering up sides together. That would be just quite fun, wouldn't it?
It'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
But it is when like Marietta's done, you compare her efforts to Olympians and the like, because she is being asked to do something. It's a huge test of any horse to go and jump round the Grand National fences in a Grand National, let alone having had a foal and everything that her body has been through in that respect. Yeah. But it's great to hear that, and it's great to see that she can do it.
She can do it, and Marietta's dead right. She is 100% right. Why can't she do it? It's just we as horse people, normally nowadays in this 21st century, and for the last how many years, once the mares go to the paddocks, they stay in the paddock, they don't come back. There's no real reason why they can't. I mean, people say they come back different. They come back. Well, she's living proof that she's better horse actually in theory than she was before she had her foal. So, and I do know it's inspired a few other people to think about, their mare has picked up a leg injury. They have thought about putting her in, they have put them in foal with a view to come back. Whether it works or not, I have no idea. She might be just a freak. It might just be a unique one-off, but she's quite a fun one-off.
And is it? I guess it's got to be part of the fact that it's Marietta and the Fox Pits and what they do at home and the care and attention they put in. I guess perhaps not anyone could do it.
Yeah, look, all the horses we've had from Fox Bits, Marietta, they are all well broken, beautifully schooled. If we're having problems, Marietta will take them out. She'll come up in her car and trailer 3 hours up from basically Dover, other side of Canterbury, drive all the way up to us, and drive all the way home, take them home. They would go and do their schooling and do plenty of groundwork. And with the younger brother, Paramount, whose jumping wasn't brilliant with us, and she said, I'll take him home. And he's actually come back jumping absolutely amazingly. Yes, with her 3-day eventing, show jumping knowledge, and her son's knowledge, you couldn't get better groundwork from where they come from, yes.
And there will hopefully be more Snow Leopardesses, right?
There's certainly more of the family. One of the reasons why Snow came back into training, again, was the fact that she's got after she had a filly foal, is that they got the filly foal to continue the line of the family. And I think that's quite important. Marietta wants to continue their 4th, 5th generation, I think she is, of the family that Marietta's had. So it's a great old pedigree. And as I said, the brothers are all perfectly, Paramount is the planning to run in the Aintree bumper. So they are. They're a good quality.
You're just giving us stories left, right, and centre. I love it.
Yeah, no, Paramount, he ran it last year, had a win problem, he hasn't run since, but the plan, if he gets in, obviously, is to go again this year. And don't get me wrong, if you work the 2 upsides, Paramount will win every bit of work, but she's tough and hardy. Having been through her problems, having been everything she has done, whether he's got that mental attitude, I don't know, but that's where her ability comes from, is from her toughness.
I feel like this Saturday, 6 days' time, for you and the team, there's a lot of, I guess, weight of expectation. The story could be here, or it might not happen, and then I guess you'll feel deflated. But it's not your fault that this story is sort of thrust upon you. But I guess it's great.
It's a everyone can resonate. It's a fantastic story. It is a brilliant story. God, you love it to keep on going. And as my eldest 12-year-old said, "Do you think they'll make a film in it?" Well, I said she's got to win first. But it is a sort of thing a movie could be made if.
Yeah.
And Millie did say, "Can I play myself?"
He? Yes. Has he ridden her?
No. This is my daughter. So
oh,
Millie.
sorry. She.
No, she hasn't. No, okay. No. Neither of them. And Harry, who's the one who's pony racing. Who's obsessed. He's only 9, so he's too small. No. Okay.
And then so talking of family, you're shooting off to go pony racing to watch.
Yes, in theory, Harry is pony racing today at Andoversford, which is something he's not on a thoroughbred. He's on a Connemara hunting pony, who's a most brilliant pony. Not a racing pony, but he did come second last weekend, beaten by Timmy Murphy's son Finn. And Harry's wants payback.
What's quite right. Well, yeah, look out. What's more nerve-wracking, watching Snow or watching Harry?
Oh, well, she will be. She will be. And Harry is pride more than anything else. He's only 9. He's still very young. He loves it. He's really excited about the whole thing. He's going to be too big eventually to be a jockey. He'd love to do a little bit of pointing as a 16 to 20-year-old, but I'm 6'5", Sophie's nearly 6 foot, so it's not going to be.
It's not likely.
It's not likely to be, no. So he might as well go and enjoy what he can. And if he's only just starting now, and if he really enjoys it, well, we will have to think about proper racing ponies. But yeah, that's not a cheap job.
Just show him a picture of Jack Andrews. Anything
yes,
possible.
Jack Andrew. Yes,
so a
fantastic rider for someone who's so tall.
You're not going anywhere though, just yet. You get to stay here. So congratulations. You're gonna stay here, and we're gonna have a couple of guests in, I think, for the first time in a while, which is good news. For now, we're going to take a pause.